telling you this because you need to know when to leave. Not when you're scared. Not when it's convenient. When everything inside you starts screaming that something is wrong, you leave. You don't pack. You don't look back. You run. I didn't run. The cabin was my uncle's. He died 3 months before I arrived, alone, in the woods, 2 hours north of anywhere that mattered. The lawyer said it was mine now. Said I should probably sell it. Something in his voice told me he thought I should burn it instead. I should have listened. The first night was fine. That's what I kept telling myself later. The first night was completely fine. It was the second night when I found the notebook. It was in the kitchen drawer, underneath old takeout menus and batteries that had leaked years ago. Black leather, water-stained. My uncle's handwriting. I recognized it from birthday cards he'd sent when I was a kid. The first page had only one sentence. Don't answer when they call your name. I laughed. I actually laughed. Some kind of joke, I thought. My uncle had a weird sense of humor. The second page had a list. Lock all doors before 9 p.m. Don't look at the tree line after dark. If you hear footsteps on the roof, stay silent. They can only enter if you acknowledge them. Count the windows from inside every night. There should be 6. I counted the windows. 6, all locked. It was 8:47 p.m. I told myself it was just paranoia from an old man who died alone. But I locked the doors anyway. All of them. Then I checked them again. At 9:23 p.m., I heard my name. Clear, distinct. A woman's voice from somewhere outside, near the tree line. Michael. Not a question, not a call. A statement, like she was confirming I was there. I went to the window. I know the notebook said not to look at the tree line, but it was just trees, just dark pines against a darker sky. Except there was someone standing there, a woman in a white dress, maybe 50 yards out, completely still, facing the cabin, facing me. I stepped back from the window. My breath fogged the glass. When I looked again, she was closer. Not walking, just closer. Maybe 30 yards now. I closed the curtains. The notebook was still on the kitchen table. I flipped through more pages. Most were blank. Then I found an entry dated 2 weeks before my uncle died. They've learned to mimic perfectly now. Tonight, one sounded exactly like Sarah. Sarah's been dead for 6 years. I almost opened the door. I won't make that mistake again. My phone had no service. I knew that before I came. Part of the appeal: disconnect, decompress, deal with the grief of losing the last family member who gave a damn about me. Now I wanted nothing more than to call someone, anyone. Something scraped against the side of the cabin. Not wind, not an animal. Something dragging itself along the wooden exterior, slow and deliberate. It moved from the back of the cabin toward the front, toward the door. I held my breath. The scraping stopped at the door. Then a knock, 3 times, polite, patient. Michael, the the woman's voice again. "I saw your light. I'm lost. Please. It's so cold." She sounded terrified, desperate. Every instinct said to help her. Every instinct was wrong. "I know you're in there," she said. Her voice changed slightly. Less afraid, more certain. "I can hear you breathing." I wasn't near the door. I was in the kitchen, at least 20 feet away. There was no way she could hear me breathing. "Michael, please. It hurts out here." I looked at the notebook again, flipped more pages, found another entry. Rule 1, they need permission. A door opened, an invitation, acknowledgement. Rule 2, they never stop trying. Rule 3, this was a mistake, all of it. I should have left when. The rest was scratched out. Violently, the pen had torn through the paper. The doorknob started to turn, slowly testing. I'd locked it. I knew I'd locked it, but it was turning anyway. Then it stopped. "Okay," the woman said. Her voice was different now. Flat, empty. "Okay, Michael, I'll wait." Footsteps moved away from the door. I went to the window, keeping away from the glass, and shifted the curtain just enough to see out. She was back at the tree line. Same spot as before. Same white dress. But there were others now. 5 more figures, all in white, all perfectly still, all facing the cabin, all facing me. I checked the windows, counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. There had been 6 windows. The notebook said 6. I'd counted 6 an hour ago. Now there were 7. The new one was in the hallway. Small, square. I'd walked past that wall a dozen times. There had never been a window there, but now there was. And someone was looking in. A face pressed against the glass. Pale, smiling. My uncle's face. "You should leave, Michael," he said. His voice came through the glass like it wasn't there. "You should have left yesterday. Now, I don't know if they'll let you." I backed away, hit the wall. The face in the window didn't move, didn't blink. "How many are outside?" it asked. "Count them for me, Michael. Count them carefully." I didn't want to look. Every part of me screamed not to look. I looked. The figures at the tree line were closer now. Not 50 yards, maybe 20. And there weren't 5 anymore. There were dozens, all in white, all still, all facing the cabin, all wearing familiar faces. I saw my mother, dead 3 years, my high school girlfriend, a teacher I'd had in 6th grade, people I'd forgotten, people I'd lost, all of them waiting. "They're patient," my uncle's face said from the window. They waited for me too. Weeks, months. Eventually, everyone makes a mistake. Everyone opens a door, or forgets to lock one, or answers when they call your name. "What do they want?" I whispered. The smile widened. "In," it said, "just in." The face pulled back from the window, disappeared into darkness. I checked the front door, still locked, checked all the windows, still locked. Then I heard it. Footsteps on the roof, slow, heavy, walking from one end of the cabin to the other. The notebook said to stay silent. Don't acknowledge them. I didn't make a sound. The footsteps stopped directly above me. Something started scratching at the roof, not trying to break through, just scritching like nails on wood, over and over. A rhythm, almost like a song. My phone was on the table. Still no service, but the screen lit up. A text message from my uncle's number. There in the walls now, Michael. Check the basement. I didn't want to check the basement. I checked the basement. The door was open. I never opened the basement door. The stairs descended into darkness. The light switch didn't work, but I could hear something down there. Breathing. Not one person, many. All breathing in perfect unison. Waiting for me to come down. Waiting for me to make the choice. The scratching on the roof stopped. The cabin went silent. Even the wind died. In that silence, I heard my name again. But this time, it came from the basement. My own voice, calling to me from the dark. Michael, come down. I need to show you something. I slammed the basement door shut, found a chair, wedged it under the handle. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost couldn't do it. My own voice kept calling from below, patient, calm. Michael, don't be afraid. It's just me down here. It's safe. You need to see this. It knew how I sounded when I was trying to comfort someone. It had my inflection, my tone, everything. I backed away from the door. The notebook was still on the table. I grabbed it, flipped through desperately, looking for something, anything, that would tell me how to survive this. Near the end, I found a page that made my blood stop. Day 64, I understand now. The cabin isn't the trap. I am. They don't want in. They want me to want them in. They want me to break, to give up, to open something, anything. The moment I do, it's over. But I won't. I won't let them. The entry ended there. My uncle died on day 67. I checked my phone. The text from his number was gone. But there was a new message from myself, from my own number. You're going to open the door eventually. You know that, right? I turned the phone off, threw it across the room. Something tapped on the kitchen window. Not a knock, a single fingernail, tap, tap, tap. I didn't look. I kept my eyes on the notebook. Another page. They test you, they learn. Tonight, one pretended to be injured, crying, begging. It sounded so real, I almost believed it. That's how they get you. They find what you care about, what you fear, what you love. They become it. The tapping stopped. A child's voice now, from just outside the window. Daddy, are you in there? I'm scared. Please let me in. Please. I don't have children. I've never had children. But God, it sounded real. It sounded so terrified and small and asterisk real. Daddy, there are bad things out here. They're coming. Please, please open the door. I put my hands over my ears. The voice got louder, screaming now. Daddy, they're going to get me. Please. Then it stopped. Complete silence. I lowered my hands, counted to 60, then 60 more. Nothing. I went to the window, carefully keeping to the side. The figures at the tree line were gone. All of them. The clearing was empty. Just trees and darkness, and the pale moonlight filtering through. Relief flooded through me. Maybe they'd left. Maybe I'd passed some kind of test. Then I saw what was on the porch. A body, small, child-sized, wearing pajamas covered in mud. It wasn't moving. My hand went to the door handle before I could stop myself. I froze. They need permission. A door opened. This was it. This was the trap. I put something there that looked hurt, looked like it needed help, counted on my humanity overriding my fear. I stepped back from the door. The small body sat up, its head turned, all the way around. Impossible, bone-breaking. It looked at me through the window. It was wearing my face from when I was 7 years old. You left me, it said. You left me alone and I got lost. Don't you remember? Don't you remember being lost? I did remember. I was 7. A field trip to the state park. I wandered away from the group, got turned around in the trees, spent 2 hours terrified I'd never find my way back. That memory, that specific, private memory, how did it know? Let me in, the thing with my childhood face said. Let me in, and I'll show you how to leave. I'll show you the way out. Isn't that what you want? To leave? More than anything. More than anything. I wanted out of this cabin. Just open the door, Michael. Just this one door. That's all. Then we can both leave together. I looked at the notebook, flipped to the last page with writing. My uncle's handwriting was barely legible here. Shaking, desperate. I opened the window. Just a crack, just for air. That was enough. They're inside now, in the walls, in the floor. I can hear them moving, spreading. I was so careful for so long, and one mistake, one single mistake, and now the rest was a smear of ink. The thing on the porch stood up. It was taller now, not a child anymore, growing, changing, becoming something else. Last chance, Michael, it said. And now it had my uncle's voice. You think you can last longer than I did. You think you're stronger. I looked at it through the window. How long did he last? I asked. It smiled. 67 days. Then I'll last 68. The smile vanished. The thing turned and walked back to the tree line, melted into the shadows. But I knew it wasn't over. I checked every lock again. All the windows, the doors, the basement. Then I counted the windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 windows. There had been 7 an hour ago. The new one was in the bedroom. Large, right above the bed. I'd never had a window there. The wall had been solid. Now moonlight poured through glass that shouldn't exist. I put blankets over it, nailed them to the wall, didn't look at what might be looking in. My phone turned itself back on. Dozens of messages now, all from numbers I knew. Friends, family, people I hadn't talked to in years, all saying the same thing. Let us in. I deleted them, turned the phone off again. This time, I took the battery out. The scratching on the roof started again. Multiple points now, multiple things up there, moving, circling. The breathing in the basement got louder. More of them down there, waiting. I sat at the kitchen table with the notebook, tried to think. My uncle lasted 67 days. What happened on day 67? What was the mistake that finally broke him? I flipped back through the entries, looking for clues. Day 30. Saw movement inside the cabin today. Just for a second. A shadow that didn't match anything. I'm alone in here. I have to be alone in here. Day 45. The faces are getting better, more accurate. Tonight one looked exactly like me. Stood in the tree line. Waved. I waved back before I could stop myself. Does that count? Does acknowledgement count if it's a reflection? Day 52. Food running low. I'll have to leave soon. But the moment I open that door, the moment I step outside, they'll have me. I know they will. Maybe I can wait them out. Maybe they'll get bored, maybe. Day 60. Something's different. They've stopped calling. Stopped knocking. The cabin's been quiet for 3 days. I don't trust it. This is a new strategy. Make me think they've left. Make me curious. Make me check. Day 66. I'm so tired. I can't remember the last time I slept. Every time I close my eyes, I hear them moving, getting closer. They're patient, so patient. And I'm just a man who made the mistake of coming here, of thinking I could be alone. Day 67, I opened. That's where it ended. I looked at the date I'd arrived. 2 days ago. I looked at today's date. I'd only been here for 2 days, but I felt like it had been weeks. I checked my phone battery still out, but my watch showed the date clearly. 2 days. That's all it had been. 67 days suddenly seemed impossible. A sound from the living room, soft, subtle. Someone sitting down on the couch. The weight of a body on old springs. I didn't move, didn't breathe. You're doing well, my uncle's voice said. Not from the window this time, from inside. From the couch I couldn't see from where I sat. Better than I expected. But you're already making mistakes. Small ones. You waved at yourself on day 45. I saw you, through your memory, through everything you are. You're not my uncle, I said. No, it agreed. But I was him for a moment, right at the end, when he finally let me in. I was him completely, felt what he felt, knew what he knew. And do you know what he felt, Michael? I didn't answer. Relief, it said. Finally, after 67 days, relief. No more fighting. No more fear, just acceptance. It's not so bad being us, being together, you'll see. Get out of my house. Laughter, soft and sad. Your house, Michael. This was never your house. This is our house, has been for, well, longer than you'd believe. Your uncle knew. eventually. We've been here since the beginning, since before the cabin, since the trees were young. I stood up, grabbed the heaviest knife from the kitchen, walked slowly toward the living room. The couch was empty, but there was an impression in the cushions, like someone had just stood up, and the front door was open, just a crack. I didn't open it. I know I didn't open it, but it was open. Cold air poured in, and with it, a smell. Earth and rot and something old. Something that had been waiting in the dark for a very long time. I slammed the door shut, locked it, put the chair against it, but the damage was done. I could hear them in the walls now, spreading, moving through the spaces between, getting closer to the center, getting closer to me. The notebook had one more entry. On the very last page, different handwriting, crude, like something learned by watching. We don't want to hurt you. We just want company. The trees are so quiet. The forest is so empty. We've been alone for so long. Won't you stay? Won't you talk with us? We can be anyone you want, anyone you miss, anyone you love. Just let us in completely. Just say yes. Below it, in my uncle's handwriting, one final word. Run. I looked at the door. I looked at the windows. I looked at every exit I had, and I realized the truth. They didn't need me to invite them in anymore. The door had been open, just for a second, but a second was enough. I can feel them now, in the walls, under the floor, behind every surface. I'm writing this on the last page of the notebook. I don't know if anyone will find it. I don't know if it matters. But if you're reading this, if you've inherited this cabin, or bought it, or decided to stay here, listen to me. Don't answer when they call your name. Don't look at the tree line after dark. And when everything inside you starts screaming that something is wrong, when your instincts tell you to leave, when every rational thought says this place isn't right, you leave. Not tomorrow, not after you've packed. Now, because I didn't leave. And now they're teaching me how to be like them, how to stand still in the trees, how to call someone's name just right, how to wait. I can feel myself spreading into the walls, becoming part of the cabin, part of the forest, part of them. And I'm so tired of fighting. Soon I'll be at the tree line, wearing a face you recognize, calling your name in a voice you trust. And I'll wait. We're all so patient here. We have nothing but time. If you ever inherit a cabin you've never seen, if someone leaves you property in the woods, if you feel that pull to escape to somewhere remote and quiet, remember this. Some places are empty for a reason, and some invitations are traps. The cabin is still there, waiting. It's always waiting.